Soy sauce. It is one of the most common condiments that we can find everywhere. We can find it at our kitchen, at supermarkets, and even marketplace. But what is soy sauce? Soy sauce is actually a generic term for a type of condiment with a startling variety of textures, taste, and appearance that reflect culinary cultures of their origins. You could go from country to country in Asia only to find that soy sauce is one place tastes completely different to the soy sauce in another. Soy sauce is packed with umami flavor from fermented soybeans and contains a substantial amount of salt which makes it perfect condiment for just about anything that needs seasoning. Overall, soy sauce provides a dish with salt, umami, a hint of sweetness, making it suitable for a wide variety of recipes. For those with dietary restriction, you can use low-sodium soy sauce or tamari, which is the Japanese version of soy sauce that contains no wet and is typically gluten-free. Because of soy sauce saltiness and umami flavor make it such a versatile ingredient, you can use it to whip up seemingly endless list of culinary creations. It can be used as salt substitute, can be turned into marinade, can be mashed into a compound butter, can be added in gravy, etc. Soy sauce also have a two brewing process, the traditional and the modern brewing process. Traditional soy sauce brewing involves four main ingredients: soybeans, wet, salt, and water. Fermentation is an important part of the process, and the longer the soy sauce ferments, the deeper the resulting flavors becomes. At the start of the process, soybeans are steamed and wet is roasted and then crushed before both are mashed together. Then inoculated with a specific strain of mold, usually Aspergillus oryzae or Aspergillus sajae, to enable fermentation. At this point, it forms a mash called a koji. Koji is spread out on wooden trays and left to ferment for 2 to 3 days. The koji also has to be mixed frequently to release the heat produced during fermentation, as the surrounding temperature can greatly affect the entire batch of koji. In some traditional breweries, it was necessary to have a system of air vents, heater, and water boilers to control overall humidity and temperature of the room while the koji is fermented. The next stage is brine fermentation. Here, salt and water are added to what was the koji to make a mixture called maromi. During fermentation, lactic acid bacteria transform sugars into lactic acid to obtain energy to grow bacterium and yeast that will kick start to the second stage of fermentation. Breweries will have to cultivate their own strains of lactic acid bacterium and yeast that give the soy sauce their own unique fragrance and flavor. This is why, like wine and cheese, every bottle of soy sauce differs according to where, when, and how it was made. After months or years of fermenting, the final maromi becomes a thick, gooey texture with the pungent yeast aroma typical of fermented food. It is then time to refine the soy sauce by pressing layers of maromi in cloth-lined containers to extract the raw soy sauce from the solid mash. The raw soy sauce is then pasteurized by heating it to a high temperature before it is bottled and ready for consumption. Modern brewing technique. While traditional brewing soy sauce have been fermented over generations, it is steady decline amongst manufacturers as newer methods for quickly producing soy sauce have been invented. One of these modern methods is acid hydrolysis. Hydrolysis is a chemical reaction in which water is used to break down a substance which does not involve any fermentation and thus cut down the production time for soy sauce for months to merely days. With this method, Defatted soy meal is boiled under high pressure with hydrochloric acid to rapidly break down the soy proteins. Then, the mixture has to be neutralized with sodium hydroxide before it is filtered and refined. Additives like salt, caramel, and corn syrups are added to improve the appearance and taste of soy sauce. It is this cheaper and long-lasting type of soy sauce that you usually find in small packets alongside pre-packaged food. Manufacturers also sometimes combine acid hydrolysis and fermentation methods to produce an affordable sauce with some of the authentic flavors of long-brewed soy sauce. It is said that the roots of soy sauce can be traced back to a sauce called jan in ancient China that began from pickling raw materials in salt to preserve them, and there were varieties of fruit, vegetables, and seaweed, etc., on meat and fish, on meat only, and on grains. The grain type using rice, wheat, and soybeans is thought to be the archetype of soy sauce. It came to Japan under the name Hishiyo, but according to the Taya Code, Hishiyo made from soybeans was to be made at Hishiyo Institute belonging to the Cuisine Division of Imperial Household Agency. Hishiyo was midway between soy sauce and miso paste, and appears to have reached the dining table of palace banquets. After that, the making of miso paste was begun using the Kinjanzi method that the Zen monk Kakushin brought back from China in 1254. While he was teaching the miso-making method to the villagers of Kishu Yuasa, he noticed that the liquid that seeps out of Hishiyo tastes really good, and that became what is known as tamari soy sauce. Soy sauce manufacturing methods are said to have been born in Kishu Yuasa. Around 1580, Tamai soy sauce thought to be the first soy sauce blender in Japan. There is a record from 1588 of approximately 18,000 liters of tamari soy sauce being sent from Kishu to Osaka. In Kanto, on the other hand, soy sauce had arrived but was not being manufactured. It was being brought from Kansai. It was called Kudari soy sauce, which means it had been brought from the capital. At the start of Edo period and the reigns of Genroku Kyoho, the population of Edo was growing. The production of strongly flavored soy sauce to the taste of Edo citizens began. The Kudari soy sauce from Kansai was countered by Jimawari soy sauce, which was the equivalent of modern common soy sauce. The booming centers of soy sauce making from the time were the cities of Noda and Choshi is Chiba Prefecture. They are situated on the broad flat land of the Kanto Plain, where soybeans and wheat are grown, and had the advantage of waterways such as the Tone and Edo rivers. So they became the centers of soy sauce production in Kanto. They are still biggest production regions for common soy sauce. Internationalization of Japanese soy sauce actually began in Edo era. Japan was then in its period of national isolation, but trade was permitted between Nagasaki and Holland as the only exception. The Dutch ships and Chinese ships started carrying Japanese soy sauce to the Chinese mainland, other parts of Southeast Asia, and as far as Holland. The soy sauce exported in the period was local soy sauce produced in Sakai, in Osaka, in Kyoto, and in Kyushu. After that, soy sauce was loved around the world as a versatile condiment. There are also different types of soy sauce with different tastes, such as Kawikuchi shoyu, Usukuchi shoyu, Tamari shoyu, Saishikomi shoyu, or Shiro shoyu, and they have different tastes and different functions. Kawikuchi shoyu, or common type of soy sauce, This type accounts for around 80% of domestic production volume and is the most general type. Other than saltiness, it has deep umami savory flavor, rounded sweetness, refreshing acidity, and a bitterness that brings the taste together. It is widely usable, general-purpose condiment, usable in cooking or at table. Usukuchi shoyu or light-colored soy sauce. This light-colored soy sauce originated in the Kansai region. It uses around 10% more salt than the common soy sauce to make the fermentation and maturation processes more gradual. Its color and fragrance are reduced to bring out the original flavor of the ingredients. It is used in cooking dishes that preserve the color and taste of the ingredients, in which ingredients are cooked separately served together. Tamari shoyu or tamari soy sauce. This soy sauce is mainly brewed in Chubu region. It is characterized by thickness, dense umami, and a unique fragrance. It has long been called sashimi tamari as it is commonly used at table with sushi and sashimi. When heated, it reveals a pleasing red tint and it is also used in grilling, boiling in soy sauce, and the process of products such as senbei rice crackers. Saishikomi shoyu or fermented soy sauce. This specially produced soy sauce is produced in an area extending from the San-in region to Kyushu, while other soy sauce is made by blending the koji with brine for brewing. This is blended with other soy sauce, which is why it is called re-fermented. It is dense in color, flavor, and fragrance and is also known as sweet soy sauce. Shiro shoyu or extra light colored soy sauce. This pale amber colored soy sauce originated in the Hekinan district of Aiki Prefecture. Its flavor is bland, but with a strong sweetness, and it has a unique fragrance. It is used in cooking dishes such as a soups and chawaman mushi egg custard, using its fragrance and light color. There are also types of blended soy sauce, such as dashi soy sauce, tsuyu dipping sauce, tare basting sauce, ponzu soy sauce dressing. Dashi or stock flavored soy sauce. This is a simple and convenient condiment. It is pre-blended with umami ingredients. Dashi soy sauce products have names such as kombu soy sauce and tosa soy sauce, and they are widely used in cooking or applying to food. Tsuyu dipping sauces. These sauces combine soy sauce with mirin or sweet cooking rice wine, sugar, dashi stock, and other umami producing ingredients. It is used on stews, hot pots, tempura dipping, and in other ways. Tare basting sauces. These sauces combines flavoring ingredients, sugar, spices, and the like with soy sauce. There are tare sauces for broiling, grilling, and yakitori skewered meats, for which the color and fragrance of soy sauce provide the finishing touch. Ponzu soy sauce. Ponzu sauces combine soy sauce with brewed vinegar with the addition of juice from highly fragrant citrus fruits or savory flavors such as dashi stock to create a wide range of products. Soy sauce dressing. The addition of soy sauce to French dressing produces a Japanese flavored dressing. It is widely used as a popular table condiment. Soy sauce have been part of many Filipino cuisine recipes. But have you ever wondered, when did soy sauce arrive at Philippines? Well, the arrival of soy sauce in the Philippines is during the 2nd century AD. The Chinese were the first to trade with the Philippines, which they called Mao at that time. China introduced the Philippines to soy sauce, fish sauce, and the method of stir-frying. This led to the birth of many Filipino-Chinese dishes such as pancit, lumpia, siopaw, and siumai. Toyo is the Filipino word for soy sauce. It was introduced in the Philippines by Chinese traders way back in history. According to most accounts, the word toyo was derived from the Hokkien word for soy sauce, toyu. It is very common ingredient used in Filipino cooking and is one of main ingredients of adobo, one of the most famous and most common Filipino dishes. Filipino dishes that contains toyo or soy sauce, adobo, pansit, sisig, fried rice, pork barbecue, and tapa. Pinoy Bites recipes that use soy sauce, honey soy glazed chicken wings, stir-fried noodles, pansit bihon gisado, pork sisig, pork adobo, paksiw na pata, stir-fried okra, adobo, baked chicken. Now, let's get down to Filipino soy sauce dips or sausawan. First is toyo mansi. It is combination of soy sauce and calamansi. It is good dipping for fried dishes or shumai, steamed okra, and etc. Second is toyo at suka or soy sauce with vinegar. It is another dip sauce combination commonly seen in Filipino dining setting. It is usually added with red onion and chili peppers in this combination. This is great accompaniment at crispy pata, grilled meat or inihaw, fish balls, Chinese dumplings, and steamed fish. And that would be all. Thank you.